Here's a demonstration of administering part 1 of the placement test. Mary will act as my student. For the purpose of this demonstration, you're going to see both the test and the score sheet. When you actually administer the placement test, your student should not see the score sheet. So here we go. All right,
Okay.
here we go. You're going to say some sounds. Say good. Now say d.
D.
All right. All right. Now, these are sounds. This sound is What sound? Yes. Is this
Yes.
Is this
No.
Is this
No.
Is this
Yes.
All right. Is this
No.
All righty. This sound is ah. What sound?
Ah.
Is this ah?
No.
Is this ah?
Yes.
Is this ah?
Yes.
Is this ah?
Yes.
Is this ah?
Yes.
All right. Now let's play Say It Fast. Listen. Ice box. I can say it fast. Ice box. Okay, your turn. Listen. Foot ball. Say it fast.
Football.
All right. Here's another word. Listen. Nose. Say it fast.
Nose.
All right, now we're going to say a word slowly. Then you're going to say that word slowly. I'll say zoo slowly. Listen. Zoo. Okay, your turn. Say zoo.
Zoo.
All right. Now I'll say we slowly. Listen. We. Your turn. Say we.
We.
Okay. Good job. Good working hard. That was part 1 of the placement test. Mary made 2 errors. Note that I did not correct her. Remember, this is not a teaching situation. This is a placement test. Let's look at Mary's score sheet. Her first error was that she said yes when I asked, is this ah? I marked 0 for task 2, step D. She also made an error by not saying nose fast. That was a 2-point item that I marked 0. So out of 20 possible points, Mary scored 17. Before we interpret her score, you're going to get a chance to practice giving part 1. You need somebody to be your student. Just as I did, you will have to point to the sounds with one hand and score with the other. Remember, your student should not see the score sheet. The person who is being your student should make at least 1 error on sounds and 1 error on Say It Fast. Each of you should get a turn to practice administering part 1. Stop the tape and practice now. Now look at the bottom of the score sheet or the bottom of page 7 Teacher's Guide for placement information. Note that children who made 0 to 14 points may begin Reading Mastery 1, Lesson 1, if they have the prerequisite language skills. More on that prerequisite in a minute. Children who scored 15 to 18 points, like Mary did, begin with Reading Mastery 1, Lesson 11. If the student scored 19 or 20 points on Part 1, you would continue administering the test and go on to Part 2. Before you see a demonstration of Part 2 of the reading placement test, I'll give you more information about students who scored 0 to 14 points and therefore will not be taking Part 2 of the reading test. Although Reading Mastery 1 was designed to be used with most kindergarten children or older primary grade students who have not yet been taught how to read, they must have the prerequisite language skills that allow them to learn from a verbal teacher presentation in standardized English. As I mentioned earlier, the DI model includes a component for teaching these language skills. All children can benefit from language instruction. However, for some children it may be essential. Any child who gets a score of 14 or less on Part 1 of the Reading Mastery 1 placement test should also be given the DISTAR language placement test. The test appears on pages 6 through 9 of the DISTAR Language 1 Teacher's Guide. Children whose placement score indicates entry at Lesson 1 or Lesson 11 of the DISTAR language program generally should be placed in DISTAR Language 1, and reading instruction should be delayed until the children have reached a minimal competency level at about Lesson 61 of DISTAR Language 1. In order to accelerate the children's performance, language can be done for 2 separate 30-minute periods daily. After students reach Lesson 61 in language, reading instruction may begin during one of those periods, but language instruction should continue. Now back to the reading placement test. Let's say you'd been testing a student that did score 19 or 20 points on Part 1. You'd immediately go on to Part 2. Now you'll see how to do Part 2 of the placement test. Let's see if you remember this sound. What sound? Okay. Let's see if you remember this sound. What sound? It's okay. Alrighty. Now I'll say a word slowly, then I'll say it fast. Listen. Man. I can say it fast. Man. Now it's going to be your turn. Say in.
In.
Say it fast. Okay, that's all right. Your turn again. Say at.
At.
All right. Say it fast.
At.
Okay. Your turn again. Say sit.
Sit.
Say it fast.
Sit.
Okay. Nice working hard. Let's look at Mary's score sheet for Part 2 of the placement test. She made 3 errors total. She couldn't remember a, so I marked a 0 for Step B, Task 1. She stopped between the sounds for in and was not able to say it fast, so I marked 0 for both items in Task 2B. Her score was 6 out of a possible 10 points for Part 2. Okay, it's your turn to administer Part 2 to a partner. Be sure you both get to practice being the teacher. Part 2 is on page 7 of your teacher's guide. Stop the tape and practice now.